We are in session. Hello, everybody. The heat wave is coming to an end. I am here in beautiful, sunny Los Angeles. I'm going to go ahead and close some windows. I forgot to do that just so that it's not too noisy. We have had a heat wave that I can't take a lot of heat. If it gets too hot, I just have to partially shut down the business, which is kind of what happened. I wasn't doing a lot of videos. I wasn't too upset that people weren't calling. I kind of went into a semi-hibernated state from the heat. So let me go ahead and close some windows because it's really loud, and then we'll say hi to everybody. Oh, thank you, Kelly and Noel for doing the chat. Hi, Mila. All right. Thanks, everyone, for your understanding. I had to take care of that, and it looks like there are a lot of us here, which is quite lovely. Okay, so people had asked about how to donate to our charities. We do a charity every month. On September 22nd, we will be making a charity donation. The donations are decided by the people because we do things egalitarian here. This channel is not for profit. That means that all the streams are we raise money, and then we, the people, decide where we're going to have the money. If you want to do a super chat, that also goes into the kitty. Super chats can be found if you look to your right, where everyone is scrolling. You can see where you can say something, and then below that, there's a little tiny icon. So if you wanted to donate $2 or whatever, for every dollar, AmericanForest.org can plant one tree. One tree costs $1. So if you started with a small donation of $2, it's 2 trees. The other channel I have is Broke Aristocrats, for people who are struggling financially and you're trying to live the good life, live frugally, get out of debt, live a green, healthy life, but you're struggling financially. I acknowledge that, and I don't want people to be struggling over that. So if you want to participate in our Green Frugal Living channel, you would go to Broke Aristocrats. And we also have a Facebook channel as well. And I'm going to try and do more on the channel Broke Aristocrats for people. So let's start by wishing everyone a hello. And then we have quite an extensive remote viewing that was done last night. So that'll be fun. So we want to start by saying hello to Patricia Powell. Chatty Kathy, always a pleasure. Angela Johnson is here. Hello, Millicent. So we've got some great people volunteering to help with the chat. Debbie, hello. Connie is here again. Hello, Susan, Donna, Charisse. We said hi to Millicent, Paul, Angela. We've said hi to Catherine, Jennifer. Kathy W. is volunteering again. Connie, Debbie, Barb, Cynthia, Prue, Tina. Oh, so many wonderful people. Welcome, welcome, Nancy, Guy Ellis, Jeff, KP Mom. All right, enough about that. All right, so let's, I'll keep saying hi to people as we go. Somebody had sent me a message saying that to try and just do it the best I can in terms of doing readings for people during the super chat. So I want to apologize. Somebody had requested that I do Betsy DeVos, and I kind of brushed it off and said I didn't want to do it. So I'll do Betsy DeVos today, and I apologize if that hurt anybody's feelings. Sometimes I get, lazy, whatever. Okay, so today's meditation is based on a remote I did last night. We're really moving away from the politics a little bit for the unforeseeable future. I think that it's not the direction the channel needs to go in. I'm getting kind of burned out by the news. It seems like it's become Trump television. I can't find out what's going on in Myanmar. I can't find out what's going on in the Middle East. I mean, there's a whole world out there of things that are going on, and instead it's just Trump 24/7. And I don't think it's good for my spiritual health to be focusing on that. I don't think it's good for the channel. And it's not using our brain power to create heaven on earth, which is really what keeps happening every time I go into the meditations. What can I do to be part of the change? And so last night's meditation drew on that theme, and the theme is the spirit of cooperation, that we are entering. It would be interesting to hear feedback from astrologers, because I'm pretty open-minded to astrology, particularly if you're a good astrologer. There are some really good astrologers out there. There's this energy that I've been picking up on. A lot of other people have been picking up on it as well. I would love to hear what the other readers, David Johnson, Janelle, Linda, Maria's Table, etc., if they're not feeling the same thing when they do their remotes, when they do their meditations, it feels like a very beautiful, cool breeze of cooperation coming in. It's interesting, when I think about this energy of the cool breeze, I think about Sufism, right? I think about mystical Islamic tradition, and also Kabbalah, because of this idea in Hebrew and in Arabic called ruach, which means wind or spirit. And this idea of a cool wind being a blessing, in the sense that these spiritual writings took place in the desert when it was very, very hot, and water was considered sacred, and a cool breeze would have been a blessing. So it's interesting that this energy of ruach, of wind, of the Hebrew word ruach, also the Arabic word ruach, which means wind, also means spirit. And that is precisely the energy that's moving in across the world, is this ruach, the spirit, or this energy of peacefulness, serenity, and cooperation. It can best be described as a feeling that people are done fighting, and people simply don't want to participate anymore in fighting. Now, this has taken on a lot of really interesting expressions in terms of how we spend our money. An example would be the beauty industry. The beauty industry, the fashion industry, Hollywood, which kind of falls into that category as well, because a lot of stuff gets marketed out of Hollywood. And how much money, oh, thank you, somebody donated $10, 10 pounds to, that's almost 20 trees. Thank you, whoever you are. I don't see the name. Oh, Lynn Jidge. Hi, wonderful Whimsy from Lynn in the UK. Love your remotes and blessings. Thank you. I believe you bought 17 trees, 16 or 17 trees, Lynn. So thanks. And thank you for saying you like the channel. Anyway, so what's happening with this cooperative energy in beauty, fashion, Hollywood is that because this is the time of the feminine, it's a time when women are refusing to participate. So you're going to see more actresses that are refusing to have their pictures airbrushed. You're going to be seeing a lot more cellulite. People are done being guilt-tripped into spending money they don't have, being guilt-tripped into feeling that their bodies are ugly, feeling like they're not enough. People are just tuning it out. They're tuning it out, and instead the attention is being drawn towards this beautiful spirit of cooperation, this cool breeze, and It's drawing people to simple living, green living, cooperation, music, the arts, creative sciences. So it's also a time of a renaissance in the sciences, in the sense that we've now entered into a time of folk science, in the sense that, like everything in life, the sciences kind of got taken over by the aristocrats. There's a long history of that, where they were funding the Royal Academy of Sciences. It was good, but it also became this thing that got put over the heads of the poor, that the poor could not participate because they didn't have the money to go to the school. And so historically, education has been a political issue, but it's also been a class issue. That is changing as well. We're going to see more free classes offered by Ivy League schools. I know you can watch stuff from Harvard on YouTube. I do that all the time. But it's more this feeling of education being cooperative, science being more for the folk people, more folk art, more events, get-togethers with people that are folk science, folk art, folk music, the people's music, sharing ideas of how to turn one's home green, and the evolution of what will become a new paradigm, which is green capitalism. And with over green capitalism, you would have democratic socialism. So democratic socialism will not be in conflict with green capitalism. And it was an interesting thing to meditate on when I did the meditation last night on green capitalism. How theoretically would a higher consciousness of Gaia think about green capitalism? And she said that human beings evolved to have greed. So part of our human nature is to have greed. It's to want things. Now, if you're talking about a hunter or gatherer society, they didn't want to have a lot of things because they kept moving and it meant more things to carry. But certainly we want the best land for gathering food or hunting, etc. So it was this idea of greed in order to create security rather than scarcity. So from this perspective, greed is something positive. If the greed is being directed towards creating a world that is more functional, more abundant, and can reduce stress and fear of hunger and that desperate feeling of being put upon, that's become part of the global economy, where the average person feels that they're put upon, that is the thing that is moving away towards cooperation and green capitalism. So that theoretically how it would work is the more your business helps Gaia, the more abundant the world is that you are creating, the more wealth you are creating for yourself and the planet. So they are one and the same. So it's a very different model. It's not the dog-eat-dog model. It's a model of business where Gaia comes first and checking in on your employees to make sure that their needs are met so that they can be happy. Extending this idea to one's employees. Just as we have the idea that Gaia comes first, that the mother comes first, and that a well-loved, a happy, well-loved, contented mother is far more likely to be a better parent than one who is starving, one who feels that she's neglected, one who feels that she's a schmata. You know, nobody wants to feel like a second-class citizen. No one wants to feel like a doormat. No one wants to feel that their needs come last. And in this new paradigm shift, mother comes first, the needs of Gaia come first. And when that becomes the paradigm shift in business, not only do businesses flourish and become abundant, but they're working with the natural order. And the natural order is puravu, to be fruitful, to multiply, that the earth wants to be expanding. So rather than trying to subdue Earth, destroy Earth, rape Earth, control Earth, we are working in concert with her as her allies, as her partners, and finding out what she needs, and then the mother is able to love us, and we create abundance. So this new green capitalism model shows that we can experience abundance and even wealth while serving the planet. And that means that we don't have to beat down, abuse, or make people feel small in order to manipulate them to buy things they can't afford. So that's green capitalism. As the world expands, as her goodness expands, it's expressed in the wealth and happiness of the citizens. This begins to express itself in micro gardens that are both inside homes and around one's homes, so that everyone has an opportunity to expand the earth in their daily life, creating homes that are eco-friendly. Your home should be able to be transported to any rainforest without it in any way harming the rainforest, because you have made your home friendly to the rainforest. It's also heralding a time when politicians will be more egalitarian. And it showed me a time when they would be presenting themselves as regular people, coming from a place of cooperation, and not from a place of the old statesman who stands above. That classist aspect of politicians is also something that we see crumbling right now. Instead, the politician becomes someone who is truly a representative of the people, and it's more of an egalitarian framework. The people, the planet comes first. When the politician is done serving their term, she or he steps down and allows someone else to come in, because the paradigm has shifted. I also took a look at the meditation on trade routes. I want to talk a little bit more about that, and this idea that as we attempt to sanction or control roads and commerce, which has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, it has created not only wars, blockades, famine, collapsing infrastructure, and also blocking of infrastructure in places like Africa, new trade routes coming in. But a growing awareness from leadership throughout the world that this competition model is not only is it not feasible, but it will have to come to an end. And so now we're kind of figuring out how to make it happen. So yes, there will be new trade routes. Yes, we will see a lot more competition from countries like China. Yes, we're going to be putting an end to these blockades. There'll be more open trade, which is going to allow America to begin to divest and put more attention into the United States. However, there's also a growing awareness from the international leadership that Putin cannot serve. All of that's going to happen, but it can't happen under Putin. So there's also, we're going to see a growing effort to push Putin out of Russian politics, and we could even see an arrest or legal action. Oh, somebody planted a tree. Who planted a tree? Thank you, Coriel. Very nice of you. You gave birth to 10 trees today. Yes, you're a tree mommy yet again. I believe you've had other baby trees as well. So we all want to congratulate Coriel for giving birth to 10 baby trees. Congratulations. All right, so that was last night's remote, and it's that energy has shifted the dynamics, I think, of this channel, whereas before it was Trump 24 hours a day, and that's just not, I think the readers are burned out. I think the fans of the channel are burned out, and I think that we feel this spirit of cooperation and saving Gaia and saving the planet. It's just a new rhythm that's coming in. It's interesting also, as a modern Buddhist, I'm thinking about my mentor, Dasaku Ikeda, had talked about the rhythm is going to change, the rhythm is going to change the rhythm. It's like, what is he talking about? You know, and I've been reading some writings, and it's like, oh, this is the human revolution. We're all going through this human revolution, and then we're extending it to others. And it's a feeling of internal peace and cooperation that extends to the rest of the world. We can't give it to others until we first create it for ourselves. We create heaven on earth in our own lives, in our own worlds, in our own communities, in our own homes. And then other people see that, and it inspires them to do the same thing. So that's maybe what Gaia is teaching us on this channel, is that we can be happy starting today. We can be environmentalists starting today. We can have 250 friends that we have a conversation with starting today, that we do have choices. And when we get together with 10,000 other people and say, we're going to move in this direction, we're going to save Gaia, we're going to save ourselves, that's exciting, that's dynamic, that's cooperation, that's going to save the world. And what's wonderful is there are more of us than them. You know, we win just by sheer numbers, which is really exciting. All right, we have another donation for Gaia from Wandering Eyes. Wandering Eyes had babies. Yes, Wandering Eyes has 10 baby trees. Also, let me know where you want the trees planted. We'll look at different organizations, but I think that we should try and focus on trying to grow, see if we can get into some organization that's going to plant in Brazil, but it's again up to everybody. All right, so hello, Nancy from Texas. New Zealand, woohoo! I hope to get there someday soon. So let's go ahead and Ohio is here. Barb from Ohio. Yes, it's been very warm, Deb. Very true. Okay, so we'll do a quick prayer, and then we're going to go forward to see what is coming for the week. And then the other thing we're going to do is start the individual tarot readings that people had asked for. We should make it also that if people do a super chat, I can do like a mini reading or something for them. All right, let's do a simple prayer, and then we'll do a general for the week. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and wisdom needed to empower our viewers, that we make the best decisions for ourselves, for the planet, for the people we love, for our families. With that I say amen. I am going to go ahead and just see what's going to be happening in the coming weeks, in case I missed anything. And we will take a look. I'm so excited. This is such a beautiful energy. I had gotten the hit that the music was going to change and that people just want it to be like a cool breeze and the music's going to be, and somebody had sent me that song, a link to the song, what's it called? The Old Road? What's it? It's with little, I don't know, I can't remember. The Old Road, what is it called? Anyway. It has that feel to it. It's not preaching politics or anything like that. It's just people getting together and having a good feeling, you know, having good time with one another. Reminds me of a prayer in Hebrew, how goodly it is when brethren dwell together. Let us have a look and see what we see. Base of the matter. Now let me move my candle. Base of the matter, things are moving on. Chariot. It's interesting. We are probably going to see the Senate coming back into session. There's a Chariot card here, so things are moving. Now, we know that that a large percentage of the GOP is not running in 2020. They're simply retiring. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So the first thing I would say for a political reading 2020 is that it's just a time of change. You can see Chariot as the base card, moving out, moving in. This is a time of a lot of movement. September in general tends to be a time of a lot of movement. Kids are moving on, they're going to school, etc. But you see that a lot this time of year. But you can see a 10 of Cups is also moving in, which is the celebration card. It's the card of the happy family, happily married. It's the rejoicing card. Again, it just denotes that this feels almost like war is coming to an end. And that the international community understands that war is coming to an end. That Putin had a point when he talked about the fact that we had bankrupted ourselves by trying to police all of these trade routes. But where he's wrong is that we don't need to do business with him. So we are moving away from the war archetype, and we're moving towards cooperation with brethren, trade, protecting the trade routes. But it's not going to be Putin's vision. This is more a vision of what legitimate governments want to do in order to keep trade honest and fair, treaties honest and fair, with not bankrupting ourselves with war. 10 of Cups moving in again means the family of man, or the celebration, a happy home. Where we are at right now, the inheritance. So there's a feeling also with the 10 of Pentacles as where we're at right now, that we are to some extent collecting a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of blessings, because on the one hand, we've worked very hard to create things that are really positive, and most Americans are working really hard to create things that are really positive. But you have certain aspects of our history that we're not particularly proud of. Slavery, sex trafficking, corruption in government, etc. So if the fact that the 10 of Pentacles is there means that, for better or worse, we have come to a point in our lives where we as a nation are accepting our own inheritance. The good, the bad, the not so great. And what crosses it? Page of Pentacles. So new business is coming in. This goes back to the idea that Yang was talking about, the politician Yang, who's running in 2020, that the closest to this that I've seen is probably Elizabeth Warren. It would be interesting to see Elizabeth Warren in Yang or Elizabeth Warren in Buttigieg. Buttigieg would be a stronger second candidate, I think. But what's interesting is the Page of Pentacles shows funding or assistance for possible grassroots projects. This is something that's come up repeatedly in the cards. It's this idea that the government is going to begin cooperating with its citizens rather than declaring war with its citizens. And this is something I want to have a conversation with people about. Oh, great, Ian's here. Hi, Ian. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. This is something I want to have a conversation with people about. Right now, one of the reasons why there's so much protest in the United States, so much protest in Europe, one of the reasons why the nationalist movement started to become popular in these countries wasn't because people wanted to be racist. It was because people felt that the government was not representing the people; it was representing corporations, and the people were suffering. What's interesting about this new wind, this new energy coming in, is the government is no longer wanting to declare war on the citizens of the United States, because right now that's exactly how we feel. We feel with the drug prices, with the fact that our schools are falling apart, that the roads are falling apart, that we can't afford to send our kids to school anymore, that public education is no longer safe. So then people want to do homeschooling, and then they call people who homeschool, they call people names who want to homeschool, but they're frightened for their children's safety. They're worried that there's no school books. It's this constant feeling in the cards and in the energy that the government is not a government by the people for the people, but that the government has become a government that seems to be at war with the people. That dynamic changes. A Page of Pentacles coming up right over our card chart suggests loans for small businesses, assistance. This is a government that instead of declaring war with its citizens is going to do something very unusual. It's going to call you on the phone and say, oh, we see this is the person who's starting a small business and then gets a call from the government saying, can you show us your business model because we've heard about it and it's interesting and we'd like to fund it. It's a very different government going into the future than the one we've had in the past. It's the fact that Page of Pentacles is moving in is an interesting thing to see, because Page of Pentacles also suggests cutting it off or termination or messages by air, but specifically it's a card that denotes doing away with things of the past, or a feeling like you have to dismantle the past in order to create something new. This is where it's cutting off or crashing, burning. You might feel that a lot of the American system has been completely dismantled and has to be rebuilt. The good news is that the energy moving in 2020 is one where things are being rebuilt, but they're being rebuilt green, and that the American people are part of the process. Yeah, we have another donation, a $20 donation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. 20 trees have been planted. I can't see the name of the person though. It's just, I think it's an anonymous donation. Thank you, whoever donated, whoever you are, you planted 20 trees, and Gaia thanks you. All right, so getting back to the reading. Yeah, so Page of Swords, completely cutting it off, and a new system or a new government coming in, a feeling like old guard doesn't want to change. What is in our past? Gaia, abundance, the businessman. This is the competition that we're seeing between business and Gaia. Where we are at right now, justice. The Lover's card again. The woman looks towards God or spirit. The man looks to her for guidance. The hope and the fear. Chaos, violence. The final outcome. Harvesting the money tree, right? We take care of Gaia. The fruit, right? We plant the fruit. And then we have abundance, purvu. So that's the outcome. The tree that is well cared for produces much fruit. The tree that is well cared for produces much fruit. And the final outcome, clarification, go back to the old ways. 6 of Cups, a new contract coming in. I don't like how, I feel bad for anybody who's not going to be able to make this change. I'm trying to figure out who just donated. I'm sorry, I don't see people's names here for some reason. Somebody anonymous donated $19.99 to AmericanForest.org. Thank you, whoever you are. Atwin, was that Atwin? Well, thank you. That was good. Thank you. Gaia thanks you. 20 trees. It's so it's heartbreaking when you see 20 trees go up in smoke. But then when we, the people, say, you know what, this system's not working for us, we, the people, are going to take care of this. It's like, oh, there's 20 new trees. It's the good wins. All right. So since the energy is moving in that direction, cooperation, assistance, countries assisting their citizens, coming up with ways to monitor trade routes that don't require war, but require, Roxanne planted too. Roxanne is, we must applaud Roxanne. She has just had 2 tree babies. Congratulations, Roxanne, on the birth of your 2 baby trees. Yes. And Atwin had 20. You're going to be a busy papa, busy mamas. All right, so somebody had asked me to check out Betsy DeVos. I think we should do that. Let's just see. I kind of feel sorry for Betsy DeVos because when I do a remote viewing on her, she is given such a small, it's almost like cruel. They give her such an unbelievably small budget to work with that They give her a quarter and say, okay, do all of this. And then she just sits there confused with the quarter and she can't do anything. And then everybody yells at Betsy DeVos. So part of it is who she fundamentally is. Someone who really doesn't understand the plight of being poor. The tissue's gone again. Oh, well, it just does what it's going to do. This up. Anyway, I feel bad for her. Betsy is cruel. Betsy is cruel, but she also has, she's a cruel person and she has no money. They're giving her very little money. So it's not one or the other, it's both. Okay, let's take a look. What's the future of Betsy DeVos and our education system? I actually want to know this because I have a lot of student loan debt. It's going to be with Betsy DeVos and the student loan debt. Oh, Barbara just had babies. Congratulations to Barbara. She gave birth to 10 trees. All right. Betsy DeVos, what are you up to? The base of the matter, strength. This is interesting. My first hit is there are real aggressive efforts being made to preserve academia in the United States and secondary education. So that's the first thing coming up. Strength card in the base, hanging it up. Let's see what this is about. Things are changing. You can see here a strong card coming in and a hanged man. This is Betsy's cards. There's fighting, arguing. This is not necessarily violence. It could also indicate an exchange of ideas. She's moving on. You can see hanged man coming here as the base and a chariot here. She's leaving this job. 6 wands, there's going to be success. Somebody new is coming in. Within 6 months, probably less than 6 months, we could see a change. She's already decided to leave. She says she's physically exhausted. You can see Betsy DeVos's card is here, and she's presenting herself as the archetype of the divorcee. So Betsy DeVos has already quit. Do people see that? So in her mind, she has already quit. Divorced, it's over. Look what's coming in, 10 of Swords. She can't continue to do this because they give her, she says, impossible budgets, and she's not able to make it work, and she's having conflicts with other people. And you can see a victory card coming in, but action, reaction. There's devastation for her, but victory for the law, or victory for the nation, the Constitution. Well, this is the law. This is also the Justice Department. Thank you, Trisha. Trisha has just given birth to 6 tree babies. Love is love. We don't judge. There you go. All right. And harvesting the money tree. What is around? Confusion. Keeps talking about confusion. She's not able to make the budget work. Hopes and fears the contract, and moving on. 8 of Wands. Yeah, I don't see her staying, and part of it was because she's not able to work within the confines of what they wanted her to do. We could see her stepping down probably as early as spring of 2020, just because of the way her cards work. But what happened was, what it looks like happened was they were trying to create a Republican budget. They gutted the education department and said we're basically going to starve out America's students, so that why would you send a kid to an American school that they're buying backpacks that are bulletproof, and their books are falling apart. So it's another example of how the country doesn't care about its citizens, and that is what's shifting. So the problem was that, from what I saw, that she didn't have who she is fundamentally in terms of her belief systems. The poor don't have a right to an education, but it was also the fact that she didn't have anybody. They cut funding to education too severely. That's what it looked like. Somebody had asked me if I could look at Ivana Trump, and I'm happy to do that as well. Thank you, Trisha. Trisha had 6 babies. All right, we're going to look at Ivana Trump next. Ivana Trump. That is the first wife of Donald Trump. I'll see if I can remote view her if she wants to. Huh, interesting. Okay. So evidently the children, from what that the children have been talking to her, that they're worried about their father. She hears a lot of stuff from her children. Her children vent to her a lot. Ivanka vents to her a lot. Her son vents to her a lot. There's a feeling that the Trump business is in trouble, but there's also a feeling that the children can clean up the mess. Believe it or not, she has a lot of faith. People joke about Eric, but she has a lot of faith in Eric being able to clean up the business, or he's very focused on cleaning up and legitimizing the business. There's a little bit of those conversations going on. There's also a feeling that Ivanka Trump is very depressed and wants to quit her duties in DC, and is talking to her mother about it because it's putting stress on her marriage. Being in the public eye is putting stress on her marriage. It's putting stress on her as a parent. And part of Ivanka Trump's energy is that she wants to put more time into, you guessed it, cooperation, being with her family, Gaia, spending time in nature. That, she went camping last month and decided she liked it. I don't know if, because of this new energy happening with Ivanka, and just the energy coming in for Ivana being worried about her kids and the mental health of Trump, she becomes a sounding board. It's like Ivana is the sounding board. Oh, Trump's right over her. There's a feeling of worry that he's not physically well. They're talking about her ex-husband as if they're worried about his cognitive skills. These are the private conversations that families have when nobody's listening, where you're worried about your ex-husband, you're worried about your kids, you're worried about your kid's dad. A feeling like the family needs to come together right now. A feeling like Trump needs to take a vacation with the family, with Ivana. It's that kind of a feeling. She feels like she has walked away from the situation in DC, and that she has another life, but she's compassionate. I mean, she genuinely is worried about her ex-husband. You can see a nice page of cups. Walked away from the marriage. His card is here. Sends healing. She has compassion for him. In a holding pattern. Look what's around her. Her daughter's marriage is in trouble. Ivanka's going through a really rough time, and she knows about it. And what's weird about her card chart, when you go into the remote, she actually thinks that Eric is the most stabilizing force for the business. Isn't that interesting? Hopes and fears, the business, the work, the kids working hard, the stress, Ivanka's emotional health, the star card coming over them. So the mother's energy is going to come in, and it feels like it's cooperative with the children, and a feeling like her daughter wants to get out of DC. And you can see also Chariot card moving in, attempting to smooth out a situation that was rocky regarding her family and a genuine concern about the mental health of her ex-husband. So we could be seeing more of Ivana Trump coming into the future just because of this dynamic. It's kind of interesting, huh? What do y'all think? Oh, Sherry. Here, we must ring the bell. We must ring the bell. Sherry has had 20 babies. They look nothing like their mother. All right, so any other questions? Should we keep going? What do y'all think? Oh, you know what? Trump is interesting. The cards are like everybody's ignoring him. People are tired of him. They're burnt out. They want to cooperate. They want to have fun. They want to create a nation that actually cares about its citizens. All this declaring war and crying babies at the border. It's just like, it's enough already. And people do want the troops to come home. And we can't continue to maintain these wars. That's all true. Jess, how do you donate? Where you comment below that, there should be a money icon. You just click on it, and then you pick how much you want to donate. And I think, tell me where you want the money to go, but so far people are picking the environment. But we're also going to be giving to children. We usually give to ACLU. Okay, so North Carolina is losing $80 million for the wall. Yeah, that's not how you get North Carolina is turning into a blue state. Look, last time I remote viewed Tennessee was turning into a blue state. I mean, can you believe that? Trees. Everybody, I will use your money for trees, Coriel, I promise. All right, so people want me to now check on oh, Sherry, I've seen the $24.99. Sherry has 25 tree babies. Mazel tov. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll do check on Trump's properties, what the future of Trump's properties are, and whether or not his kids. Eric is actually in there trying. This is stuff we don't hear in the news. He's like depicted as, oh, the dumb Eric. But actually, he's the one busting his butt trying to save that company. He's actually he's the one that his mother is proud of him. Like, wow, he's really stepped up to the plate. Maybe it's because he's one of the younger kids. He feels he has to prove himself. But it's kind of interesting that came up. All right, let's look at the future of Trump properties and if he's going to get into trouble for. Oh, Mary had 2 babies. Congratulations, Mary. May they grow up to be strong, brave pines. All right. What's going to happen with Trump's properties as a result of all of this? I wonder. I want to look at Barr again, too. What's going to happen to Trump's properties? Trump's properties. Let's look, people. Douglas Coe, he was the leadership of the fellowship. Maybe, Miriam. I'll try and get to that. All right, Trump's properties. The relationship. You can see the Lover's card. This is kind of the Schmoozer's card, and then the Hermit card. So I would interpret that as an investigation or examining existing contracts, deals. There could be an investigation or an ethics could come in. Hermit card, you never want to see that when you've done something wrong because it could denote an investigation, the Hermit or the Scholarship card. And you can see here with a Lover's card, this has to do with a potential business deal or a union or contract that is being examined. Ace of Swords. He's got victory or success. One of the things he wanted to do, it would appear. Oh, thank you, Jess. Jess had 2 babies. Thank you, Jess. You want the money to go wherever? Okay. Right now, actually, it looks he feels like he's been able to put a lot of it. He tried to market his business. I think we all know about that. But the Ace of Swords being there with the King of Swords, which is his card, suggests that he thought he was going to help his business. Page of Cups, the offer, negotiating offer. So yes, he is trying to negotiate offers for his business. Very stubborn. I think this card is really his card. 4 of Cups, refusing to change his ways. Double aces he pulled, Ace of Wands. He'll be able to save some of his companies. With the 3 of Swords ends the reading. So he's going to lose a couple of his companies. He's going to be able to save some of his companies. They're not going to be as hard on him legally as they could have been because there appears to be some offer in the works. That always comes up with him. Best time for him to resign would probably be spring of 2020. With these cards, I would say best time for him to resign would be April 2020. If he wants to stick it out till the end, that's fine, but he's not. There's too much here about early resignation and offers of resignation, and he keeps getting these offers, and then he keeps turning them down. It's like he wants to get the best deal, but the fact that it ends with the 3 of Swords would suggest that probably he's going to lose some of his property as a result of this. All right, so there's a special election in North Carolina with McCready. He is the Democrat. So we want McCready to win. Is that right? I can't watch as much news as everybody. So North Carolina, people want to check to see if McCready's going to win. Will he lose Mar-a-Lago? Yeah, I think something about Mar-a-Lago being chopped up. We did a remote on that, which means that more than one company is probably going to buy the estate. So it could be something like if the Sheraton comes in and then they have investors. Yeah, and Scotland. So he's going to also 3 of Swords is a 3 number, so he could lose. He could three companies should go. 3 properties could go belly up. I don't know if he can financially afford to hold on to Mar-a-Lago. So it might be better that Mar-a-Lago seems to be a major company comes in and other companies, like it's a joint venture. And that's probably the future of Mar-a-Lago. Okay, so let's look at McCready in North Carolina if he's going to win. Will McCready win? Democrat in North Carolina. This is McCready's cards. That's fun. Best way to spend a Saturday. If you're hot, humidity, hang out with your friends and read cards. Plant trees. This has been a nightmare for McCready. He's exhausted. He's gotten death threats. He's been threatened legally. It's been a financial battle as well because a lot of stuff had to come out of his own pockets. He's been harassed. This is the guy who receives the 2 a.m. phone call that has to be reported to the FBI. This is not a happy camper. He's physically exhausted and stressed out. So I wish I could say that McCready is a happy guy, but this is a guy who really looks like that. He may be keeping it from the press, but he's been through hell. Let's take a look. Where he is at right now, refusing an offer and confusion. So what happened to him feels like almost like gaslighting, where people were saying and doing crazy things, and the crazy things became real. What is above him? A new offer. It's this new energy of cooperation and a new job. But he had mixed feelings about whether or not he even wanted to be in the middle of this, because there's so much crazy. He's coming into magician. People are trying to cooperate with him. Something that was, the craziness came to an end. Knight of Pentacles, a new partnership, new assistance, magician card, hope and fears. This was a financial nightmare for him. Look at that. And then the final outcome, he sits in the garden. I think this is the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Linda get the same thing? Linda G, I think she also got a 9 of Pentacles as his outcome. Harvesting the coin. A lot of what happened to him was that he was bankrupted financially. It's very likely he could win with a 6 of Wands as the outcome. It's weird because they started off being very emboldened. The Republicans did, harassing, threatening, crazy behavior, and they got away with it for a long time. And now the tide has turned, and now there's a feeling again, cooperation. He's getting cards like Magician, 2 of Cups, people trying to help him. It's very possible he'll win. Okay, so do we have time for one more? Jess, I think you just go in where it says $2 and then type in whatever you want to donate. Change the $2 or the. I think you can actually type in whatever. I don't know. I've heard that before. All right. So, but we did good, you guys. I think we've raised about 100. I think we planted 100 trees so far. That's pretty good. Anything else? Are we done? People want to keep going? Why don't they indict Trump if he won't leave? Because, well, part of what's going on, and this is some, oh yes, I was going to check on Barr. Thanks, Connie. Let me grab some water. Gotta stay hydrated. Linda, no bails? I don't know. No balls? I typed in $10. Oh, over the $2? Because when I go in the super chat, send a highlighted message. You see, and then below where it says highlighted message, you can see the $2 there. You then erase the 2, and then you can just write in something else. Below the announcement. That's how you do it. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead. What are we doing? Are we doing Barr now? Oh my God, there's so many interesting things going on in the world. All right, let's look at William Barr. What's going to be with Will? The cards are so good. We're moving towards cooperation. That's good. All right. What will be with William Barr? What will be with William Barr? Bill Barr, who hates it when I go. Every time I try and do a remote on him, he gets all mad at me. Jess just donated $5 to trees. Jess, my goodness. You're having multiple births today. And Coriel, $10, multiple births for her too. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you to God. On behalf of Gaia, thank you. All right, Bill Barr. It's going to be with Bill Barr. Maybe we can donate them during our slumber party. We can buy the trees together. That would be fun, right? You guys would be into that, right? Right. How are people doing with the project to go to a zero waste home? Did everybody do an account and a reckoning of your bathrooms? How much toxic chemicals you have in your bathrooms? I don't even want to tell you how much toxic stuff is in my bathroom and on my makeup counter. So basically, instead of throwing it out, what I'm finding out is, because, well, we'll probably do it on a Saturday night. Oh, thank you, Miriam. Miriam donated $2 to charity. But then it says $5 below that. So I don't think you write it. You have to actually change. Sorry. Three people. Terry, that's funny. Okay. Bill Barr. And then I have an announcement after this. The base of the matter for Bill Barr, chariot moving on and defensive. They're gone. They're gone like in 4 months, 3-4 months. That's what I'm feeling. The party's over. Where he's at right now, got his wish regarding negotiations. What is above him? Leaving. This guy is tired, burned out, leaving former relationships. Look at that. He's got the 9 of Cups, which is to walk away from a relationship that's not satisfying, to go and seek the 10th cup. But look at this. It action, reaction. It's in relationship to a union or a business he already has. He's coming out of a past of confusion. It was a confusing time in American history. It was a feeling like, and it's in the past placement, it's a feeling that we've been there and we've done that. Thank you, Fellerin. Fellerin gave birth to 5 beautiful pine trees. Yes. Thank you, Fellerin. So the moon energy, it's that time when the whole world went crazy. Putin drove the whole world crazy, and now the world has gone and is clamping down on Putin, going it alone, scholarship. He's increasingly isolated, Bill Barr. He's allowed to do his work, but you can see this train is coming. The Trump train is crashing. He's going it alone. Why can't they just pull him out? Because this became dangerously close to fascism, and there are potentially hundreds of thousands of people, some of them with weapons, that have threatened the United States that are Trump supporters. And so there's a very volatile situation that Trump, the GOP, Putin, they've collectively created a potentially dangerous situation. And so dismantling that situation is being done in a very meticulous way and a very thought out way. And one of the ways that they're dismantling this is by trivializing, minimizing the president and trying to make him out like he's insane. And the more they do that, theoretically, the more they will be able to dissipate the amount of control that this president has on his base. And thank you to Lodi, who has just given birth to 2 trees. Thank you. Where he is at right now, the Judge's card, right? The Emperor. What is around him offers the hope and the fear. It's all about stability. He wants stability, abundance in DC. The final outcome, an offer is rejected. Let's get a clarification on that. I think it's Trump. Look, it's Trump's card. Double aces. Hopes and fears, leaving, believing. I don't know how else it's like something happens in about 3 to 4 months that wraps this up. So we're now in September, October, November, December, January. Between December and January, we could see the president leaving. As early as December and January, just because this energy seems to be waning around then. Trump's health, I agree with other readers who have seen that. Trump's health doesn't look good. He's tired and he's exhausted. And I don't know if he has the physical strength to run another 4-year campaign. Bob Mueller became a papa. Thank you. He gave birth to 10 trees. Liaison became a mommy or dad. Is it mommy? She's a mommy. Hello. It's giving birth to 2 trees. I don't know what kind of trees these organizations, I think it's pine, right? It's the drought-resistant ones they plant. Okay, I think we got time for another throw. There's 460 of us going strong. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Liaison just donated another $5. She actually gave birth to 5 trees. Yes, thank you. Kavanaugh. I looked at Kavanaugh last week, and it looked like his personal life was falling apart and he was in legal trouble. Okay, somebody said, oh, Jeff Epstein. Okay, so Stone is whacked. Jeff Epstein. Okay, let's go in and see if anything more is going to come out of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Is anything else going to come out about the Jeffrey Epstein investigation and the co-conspirators? Let's look at that. And then I want to show everybody my my latest herb stuff. Jeffrey Epstein. I use this as Ghislaine Maxwell's card. And there's a star card there. So I don't see anything bad happening to Ghislaine Maxwell, but I do see her being a source of what she has a lot of information. She has a lot of information and she protected herself. In plainer words, when she was working for Jeffrey Epstein, she documented things and she protected herself along the way. This was not somebody who went into this without protecting herself. Star card over her. She has friends that are sympathetic to her. She is, some of what I hear when I go into this remote is a little bit disturbing. Like she talks about the fact that she tried to help Jeffrey. You know, her version of reality is not most people's version of reality. She gets her wish regarding 3 of Wands. What they're telling me, okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell people the remote, what I'm hearing. What they're telling me is that she came back to the United States in order to give depositions. So she came to the United States willingly, and she was here willingly to answer questions. They also say that she's working on a possible private interview. It could be with Oprah or somebody. That was another reason why she was possibly in Los Angeles, if she was having a private meeting with Oprah or having a private meeting with her lawyer to negotiate a private interview, and they're not ready to go public about it, that would also explain why she was in LA, because OWN Studios is just down the street. And so it was literally within, under 2 miles from where she was having her burger. So there are cards in her card chart that denote the media or communication and the fact that she came here willingly. A 3 of Wands is to go over the pond. So it would also suggest that she's going back to England. But it's suggesting cooperation here, that she took care of herself, that she documented things for her own protection. She came here willingly. She seems to have given some type of deposition, and now she appears to be going back. So they're going to allow her to leave the country. They know where she's at. She was not in hiding. She was negotiating things with her lawyer. You can see defensive, but not in hiding, 9 of Wands, and then the Fool card. So she took a leap of faith, or is about to take a leap of faith, in terms of dropping information. But you can see a Tower card is here. There's a Tower entering, and that's in the near future, and it regards some deal she made with somebody else. The King of Cups, which is the offer. So within 3 days, a major list or a series of names or a major dump is going to happen, probably within 3 days to a week, regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Another bomb is about to drop. She walked away from the broken man, 5 of Pentacles. Every time I go into her energy, it's just sad, heartbreak, a tormented man. This is her depiction of him being in love with a tormented man that was sick. His sickness became her sickness, where she couldn't separate her mind from his mind. That kind of, when you wind up in a relationship, when you yourself have psychological problems and then you wind up involved with somebody like that, and it's talking a lot about the psychological effect of their relationship, how their neuroses worked together. How she was able to justify this to herself, a new beginning. It's all about cooperation, the energy of cooperation, grieving what she lost. Most of what she lost were her friendships, her contacts, people not returning phone calls. She lost a lot of her business. She enjoyed the limelight. People that were dying to get a photograph with her before want nothing to do with her now. New relationships. It's a time in her life when she will lose a lot. She took the leap of faith, which is the Fool card, and then a huge crash is coming, which means that she told her lawyer everything. Because I think this is her lawyer's card, and it's going into a Tower card with a Fool card. So I think she dumped everything. And I think she cooperated with the investigation. I think that the feds are going to allow her to return back to Britain, because I think she's an incredibly important witness. I think she'll be protected. But I think that there will be consequences to her social life, and a lot of relationships with certain persons that she relied on are now over. People want nothing to do with her now. That's basically what it says. She's going to go off and live a quiet life, she thinks. If she winds up in jail, but right now, and it's possible that with that Tower coming in, that it could be serious legal action as a result of what she does. But in her mind, she still feels that she's going to be protected because she has all this stuff that she hid and she put into a safe. She's negotiating. Certainly, she would have to be negotiating with an outcome like the Lover's card. All right. Did everybody have fun hanging out with me, saving the planet? You see, this is what Gaia was trying to tell us. This is fun. Hanging out with our mom, taking care of our mom, planting trees, being part of a change, hanging out with me. It's all good, right? All right, I want to thank everybody for watching this live stream of the Oracle of Whimsy. Be sure and share, like, subscribe. And if you'd like to get a personal reading with me, absolutely, I do phone readings. You can go to, if you want to get a phone reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com and schedule an appointment. I'm also a doctor of natural medicine, and I do telemedicine health coaching. But before we leave, I promised I would show you something. So hold on, I'm very proud of this, so I have to show something off. This is my treat. All right, so I'm showing off the first of my herbs. I'm building my medicinary in my home. Everything is 100% organic, but I wanted to show folks, because people have asked about the herbs. I know some people have to leave that are not interested in herbal medicine. So they said, save it till the end, doctor. All right, so for those people who are not interested in herbal medicine, I will see you tomorrow. For those people who are interested in my witchery ways, we'll go ahead and talk about that. This is an herbal tincture. It's made with vodka. It's 40% alcohol. What is that, 80 proof? And it's equal parts. This is a SIBO tincture, and that's for the treatment of bacterial overgrowth in the stomach. So in addition to dietary changes that I put people on, when you do have IBS, irritable bowel disease, depending upon what the cause is, a lot of the time, our pancreas simply isn't producing enough enzymes to digest the amount of food or the types of food we're eating. And so cordials can be helpful, but the bitters can be helpful as well. So here is the SIBO tea I made, and it's got pau d'arco, which is an antimicrobial, dandelion root, which is a nice bitter and also good for the liver, celandine, also good for the liver, echinacea, augustifolium, and purpura, licorice, which is a mover, Oregon grape, which is an antimicrobial. I gotta turn that off. Oregon grape, which is an antimicrobial. Oregon grape still grows wild, but golden seal does not. It was actually harvested into extinction, but both contain berberine, which is good for diabetes, and it's also good for weight loss, and also antimicrobials for SIBO. And the reason why I chose this particular types of herbs is because they're good for people who, if you are dealing with somebody who has SIBO, if they have non-alcoholic steatorrhea, liver disease, fatty liver disease, this would be, or if you just want a liver cleanse in addition to helping with digestion, that was why I chose this SIBO treatment. And then every day, you just would shake it. I did 2 tablespoons of each herb, and then I mixed it, sealed it, and voila. So in about 2 weeks, we'll strain this. And then after you strain it, you'll save the menstruum, which is the plants, afterwards. And then that's going to go into a compost, and you'll make a compost from your medicinal herbs. And the compost is kind of magical. Another thing you can do when you make these types of tinctures, when you're grinding your herbs and seeds, when you're making the tinctures, is you can sing to, you can sing and you can pray and you can send love into the medicine. It's just a wonderful way of the signature, the energy of the healer, that energy going into the medicine, and that also is therapeutic. Okay, and the last announcement I wanted to make, hope you all enjoyed seeing me making my medicine. Look how pretty it is, how it lines up. Okay, so the last thing I want to tell people about is that I will be out of the country in November. Yay! I'm going on holiday again in November. Looks like it'll be either early to mid-November. I'll be gone about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I will be in Sydney, Australia, visiting friends. Yay! So if you happen to be a reader in the Sydney area, I don't know if David Johnson or Len or Janelle is going to be in the area, but it would be great if we could do We could do some remote viewings and some readings together with the whole gang down under in November. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. And yeah, if you're still trying to get in for a reading, absolutely check out the website, tarotwithwhimsy.com. I would love to have you come in. All right, we'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for the support. Thank you, Linda, for your sweetness. Thank you, Connie, Deanna. Thank you, everyone who donated to AmericanForest.org. I thank you, and Gaia thanks you. Be well.